But that's the question that investigators have, I think, is why you held on to those documents when you knew the federal government was seeking them and then had given you a subpoena to return them.
Are you ready? Are you ready? Can I talk?
Yeah, what's the answer?
Do you mind?
I would like for you to answer the question.
Okay, it's very simple to answer.
That's why I asked it.
It's very simple to, you're a nasty person, I'll tell you.
Can you answer why you held on to the documents?
I was negotiating and we were talking to NARA. Oh, that's a good one.
Mr. President, you won the White House in part because of high inflation. If your tariffs make prices go up...
Excuse me, we haven't asked you to speak yet, please.
This is so funny.
Okay.
Bitch, shut up.
You won the White House in part...
Mr. President, you are meeting Prime Minister Modi of India this afternoon. What kind of trade and tariff relationship would you like to have with India? And what's the vision for India?
India traditionally is the highest, just about the highest tariff.
He is trolling her.
He ain't going for. Why would why would he entertain it after what she done did?
Oh God, payback's a mother.
He said you are a nasty person.
Caitlin, what does that mean? What's George Soros trying to do with the immigration crisis?
Good morning. Okay, so George Soros is this foreign-born left-wing guy who essentially wants to change the nature of our country. And in this data dump, one of the memos was about the refugee crisis. And they made 3 points. They think that they've been successful at influencing immigration policy across the world. They think that the refugee crisis is an opportunity to continue doing so. And they think the refugee crisis is the new normal. And George Soros is this guy who is a staunch advocate for open borders. He wants people to be able to go wherever they want, whenever they want, for whatever reason. And for him, he sees this immigration policy, this crisis, as a vehicle to further his immigration agenda.
Well, I be goddamn.
She was on Fox making Republican points.
That's insane. Talking about George Soros.
Wow.
Way back. He
Audacity.
just got bammed up.
The audacity with a straight face.
Yeah, that's insane.
They're like borderline actors.
Yeah, it's a lot of them that do this though. That's what's crazy. Because
They're good actors,
they're good.
bro.
No, they're good. They're
I don't know how you
great
can fight
actors.
so hard for one side and then
I couldn't.
Bro, straight
you know I gotta
face.
keep it stacked, man.
After Tulsi said the Democrats have no morals, then there it was right
They
there.
don't, clearly.
Which White House official made the decision to bar the AP reporter from the Oval Office and the diplomatic reception room last night?
Well, first of all, let me just set the record straight. It is a privilege to cover this White House. It's a privilege to be the White House press secretary. And nobody has the right to go into the Oval Office and ask the President of the United States questions. That's an invitation that is given. And there are hundreds of outlets on this campus, many of you in this room who don't have the privilege of being part of that pool every single day and getting to ask the President questions. We reserve the right to decide who gets to go into the Oval Office, and you all have credentials to be here, including the Associated Press, who is in this briefing room today.
But isn't it retaliatory in nature is the argument, because the reason that the AP was barred, which they said was because they're not using the phrase Gulf of America, they're using Gulf of Mexico in line with their standards. And so the question here is this setting a precedent that this White House will retaliate against reporters who don't use the language that you guys believe reporters should use? And how does that align with the First Amendment commitment that you were just talking about?
I was very upfront in my briefing on day one that if we feel that there are lies being pushed by outlets in this room, we are going to hold those lies accountable. And it is a fact that the body of water off the coast of Louisiana is called the Gulf of America. And I'm not sure why news outlets don't want to call it that, but that is what it is. The Secretary of Interior has made that the official designation in the geographical identification name server. And Apple has recognized that. Google has recognized that. Pretty much every other outlet in this room has recognized that body of water as the Gulf of America. And it's very important to this administration that we get that right, not just for people here at home, but also for the rest of the world.
Google recognized it. Apple recognized it.
Well, it's just like they were the main people complaining about people using they, them, and different pronouns and not using certain words and changing the names of football teams and all types of stuff. So now we want one little thing and y'all gonna hoot and holler over it.
Nah, she's a dog.
Yeah, she is, but she will get on your ass.
So that even proves more that CNN just doesn't like Trump. That there's a higher power that doesn't like Trump, and they're pushing that narrative. But I figured out that it's not a huge stretch for us to get in there, but these people like pay a largest amount of money, like CNN. And these companies pay I'm talking about millions of dollars to make sure that they have a spot in there.
Of course. And they come with their questions designed like maybe months ahead.
Yeah,
that is a specific question.
That's
for little old us to get in there.
Yeah. It's a stretch, but they definitely said it's still possible. But
they better not let no weird niggas in there. I'm sorry, man.
Yeah, they're doing that because
we gonna get down to the business.
They're gonna be able to create any narrative they want to.
Yeah,
that's just like that's like a expense for them.
That's Trump change.
Oh, we in now. We're gonna be able to create any narrative we want to.
Yeah.
On your cabinet, sir, we saw Robert F. Kennedy Jr. get confirmed. He's going to come in here and be sworn in. Mitch McConnell has now voted against several of your nominees. He voted against RFK Jr. as the next health secretary, citing conspiracy theories. What's your reaction to that?
Well, I feel sorry for Mitch. And I was one of the people that he wanted to go to the end and he wanted to stay leader. He's not equipped mentally. He wasn't equipped 10 years ago mentally, in my opinion. Let the Republican Party go to hell. If I didn't come along, the Republican Party wouldn't even exist right now. Mitch McConnell never really had it. He had an ability to raise money because of his position as leader, which anybody could do. You could do it even. And that's saying a lot. But the fact is that he raised money and he gave a lot of money to senators, and so he had a little loyalty based on the fact that as leader you can raise a lot of money.
Speaking of that, this is another notable media moment that took place yesterday between Donald Trump and CNN's Caitlin Collins in the Oval Office. Listen to this.
Mr. President, you'd won the White House in part because of high inflation. If your tariffs make prices go—
Excuse me, we haven't asked you to speak yet, please. Right? This should have never been allowed to happen. I know he's a friend of yours.
But couldn't Putin just withdraw his—
He's a friend of CNN.
Yeah, and the notable part of that, Joe, to me, wasn't Donald Trump saying that Joe Biden is a friend of CNN and Caitlin Collins. It's the fact that the time that she chose to speak out, it was before she was called upon. I believe there is decorum when you're in the Oval Office meeting with the president, and there is a time to speak, and she sort of chose to violate that?
And Caitlin Collins should know that because she was a White House correspondent during the first Trump term. And then Joe Biden comes into office and suddenly she couldn't run from that room fast enough. But now she's back to hold the powerful accountable because Trump is back in. She's there to make herself the story. She is a recycled version of Jim Acosta. Look at me. No other reporter there jumped in to ask a question. Only Caitlin Collins did because CNN wants to be a part of the story because that's worked so well for CNN to this point. Here's what I know. Since 4 years ago, this time in 2021, CNN's primetime ratings, which include Caitlin Collins' show, is down 85% from that time. No one trusts that network anymore, to Trump's point.
Damn! Hey, the numbers speak for themselves. This is why Trump won the election and nobody watching them because they be capped.
100%. And not only is she saying, look at me, she's being disrespectful on purpose, trying to get a reaction out of Trump.
Yeah.
Well, this is quite a story we have for you. This just out. It was a photo that was taken yesterday in the Oval Office. So zoomed out, it just looks like an ordinary photo, right? You see the president there with Modi, the Secretary of State, just a meeting. But when you zoom in into that door, what you see captured in that red circle is the mugshot of President Trump. Now, this is a rather interesting place. This is called Outer Oval. This is where pretty much every guest, with few exceptions, walks through. And to the left, you see the top of a grandfather mahogany clock. And then you walk into the Oval Office, meaning just about every guest, with few exceptions, some enter the Roosevelt Room, will walk past the Fulton County mugshot of President Donald J. Trump. How is that for irony?
That's crazy.
You know, Tommy, I look at this, and there's so much symbolism here. Because Democrats tried to destroy this man, and that photo captures that endeavor. They did not destroy him. He is hanging up the photo in Outer Oval that Democrats in Congress, senators, will have to walk by when they meet President Trump in the Oval Office.
He's trolling the trolls, and it's so epic. I love it so much, but I think it's also not even just for him a sign of resilience, but for the American people as well. That was a turning point, that mugshot. There's a reason he was so proud of it. He didn't look at it like you typically look at a mugshot. He looked at it like a badge of honor. He marketed it. It was a big moment for him in a campaign season of so many moments. But it is also indicative to the American people, so many that have felt beat down, that have felt run down, that have felt stepped on and squashed by this behemoth that is the federal government. This is also a picture for them, reminding them, hey, look, Look at all the things that Donald Trump went through. I can get through it too. He has an army of people behind him. Republican, Democrat, Independent, doesn't matter. And that's symbolic in that photo. I think it's beautiful. I think it's great. And I'm so glad he put it there. What a reminder.
Symbolic.
He gangster, bro.
Symbolic, epic. My one word would be legendary.
My one word would be gangster.
Not only have we never had a U.S. president with a mugshot, I'm not sure we've ever had a mugshot hanging outside of the Oval Office before.
You mad,
but that
bro?
is where President Trump has placed his from when he was indicted in Fulton County, Georgia, for his efforts to overturn the election. We learned a few days ago he has a framed cover of the New York Post with his mugshot just outside the Oval Office in what is known as the Outer Oval. Now, we discovered this when he was greeting the Indian Prime Minister. They were seated in chairs in front of the fireplace in the Oval. But just over the shoulder of his chief of staff, Susie Wiles, you could see the president's mugshot there as he has it framed. His aide and person who is his social media guru, really, Dan Scavino, posted a video of it saying, "Happy Valentine's Day" from the beautiful Oval Office. This has really become a rallying cry that Trump has used on the campaign trail. They've even put it on merch and sold it featuring his mugshot.
He won.
And now it has a home outside the Oval Office as well.
He won. He can do what he wants.
This is funny, bro.
She is a snake,
This
bro.
is very satisfying.
She's doing
to
what she's
me.
supposed to do, man.
Nah, yeah, she's fighting for her side, man.
She's been a snake. Okay, there you go.
Oh,
There you have it.
well, I forgot she did.
She was a Republican.
Yeah, I don't know a Republican,
She's a
but she was
She's a Republican, but did you hear talking about borders on Fox? I think this is the funniest thing ever.
No, this is hilarious.
Next week, if we get to go to the White House, I'm taking a picture next to that right now.
Now, that'd be crazy.
If you see her, take a
in the
picture
Oval
with her.
Office, that'd be crazy.
Take a picture with
I'm
her
not
if you see
expecting
her.
that. This is actually legendary. I mean, she's triggered like they're all gonna be, but I mean, he won. I mean, that's
Nah,
legendary.
it's so funny.
He has
It
to
is
do
literally
that.
comical to me, bro.
He has to do that.
It is comical when I see them freaking out about this.
Like I'm pretty sure anybody would have done that. You have to do that.
You gotta troll him for
What does she
he is.
expect? What does she expect? She knows Trump. Trump is that guy. He ain't
He gonna do whatever.
Afraid to talk back. You talk shit to him, he gonna talk it back.
They're still working hard, and their ratings are still going down, guys.
85%.
Let us know.